Hey everybody. So today we're going to extract this honey that we pulled off the hive yesterday. It's not a whole lot, but I don't have a big enough freezer to hold deeps yet. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of it before the ants get into it. So I'll show y'all what we got. So this is what we pulled yesterday. We got some of these are deeps and some of these are mediums. And then I got that medium's full. It's got like 8 in it because they're all drawed out so wide. I do have some of these, but I don't have no nails to put them in yet. I got to get some nails, but they go on the inside in here like this on the ledge, and it spaces a 10 frame super out to 9 frames, and that allows all of your frames to be drawn out like this. Instead of kind of not, I don't see any, see how this one is kind of flat? This one right here is kind of flat. That one's going to be hard to cut off with the knife. So what we'll have to do is probably pick off the wax cappings. But this just makes it easier to cut the wax cappings off. I just got to find some time and some nails to install those. All of these drawn out really good. Most of the ones that were beside of these frames were drawn out like this one is. So I just left them on the hive to let them draw it out some more. We're going to get started. So this is I don't have a very large setup just because I'm not extracting honey in large quantities. So I got a 3-frame manual with my strainer, double strainer. So it's got 2 strainers in it. This one gets the big wax cappings, and this one gets a lot of your smaller stuff and parts of your bees that you might have died inside and got mixed in with it, and just ants, all kinds of stuff. This one does. Both of these do catch a lot of honey, which a lot of pollen, which I'm not a fan of. I'd like to keep some of the pollen in there. And then I got my uncapping station, which is just a bucket with this little device on it where you sit the frame inside of these holes. So the frame just sits inside of these holes on the edge, and you lean it up tall ways like this, and then you just run your knife down the edge of it. The cappings fall in the bucket, and obviously beekeepers are notorious. We don't waste nothing. So we will, as soon as we get done with this, there will be some honey in the bucket. We'll kind of strain some of the honey onto this. We'll take these wax cappings, and I saved mine. I'm going to try to make a couple of candles, but nevertheless. So let's get into it. I'm going to uncap some frames, slide them in here, and then we're going to start cranking. And I did wanted to add real quick, I use a cold knife. A lot of guys use hot knives. I don't like the idea of any heat on my honey because it won't boil the honey, but it'll cause the honey to lose a lot of its benefits. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial, and a whole bunch of other things that are really helpful to humans as they are for bees. And putting heat on it, heating up the honey any at all, will cause it. It may not hurt anything, just the heat, just a little bit when you cut the wax cappings, but this knife right here just does so well. It's super sharp, but it cuts it literally like a knife through butter, hot knife through butter. So this is what I used it last year, and I really liked it, so I'm gonna stick with it. We're just gonna sit it right here just like so. And you can just press it up against the, you can just kind of press it up against the wood, but I'm going to try to stay on the outside because if you press it too much, you'll dump a lot of your honey right into that box. And you really just want to make sure you uncap all of this, because if you don't, it won't, that capping's tough. So what I'm going to do is, grab my little pick over here, and I'm just going to pick all this stuff out, pick all these cappings out, without trying to fling them across the room. Just like so. That's all we want right there. We're going to flip it around, do the same thing on the other side. Just like that right there. We're going to cut right down it. See if we can't get this one in one try. Nope. Just like so. Now we're going to very carefully pick this up and put it in here without dripping honey all over the place. Like so. All right, on to the next one. Yeah, like I said, you lose a lot of honey cutting it like this, but you don't lose a lot of honey. You just don't get a lot of honey extracted. I'm not concerned with that because we are going to get all this honey off of this piece of the brush. Got knocked in there. Yeah, see, they hadn't drawn this one out quite as far as I wanted them to, so it didn't get pushed out all that much, drawn out all that much, I should say. I just like to make sure they're all turned the same way, so I won't have no problem extracting them. Go ahead and spin that one around. We're gonna go up with it like this, and we're gonna go down with it. Alright, bring it up like this, bring it down. Alright, let's get to spinning. I like to keep doing it until it does, until I stop seeing honey hitting the walls. Or smaller and smaller amount of honey hitting the walls. You can get a pretty good look at the frames to make sure they're done. That's pretty well extracted. So what we'll do now is we'll turn them around and we'll do it again. All right, I'll turn it around. Spin it on out. This is one reason I don't like this extractor. It bounces a lot because it's not heavy. I want to get one with a motor on it, that way I don't have to crank it. All right, now what I like to do is I like to pick the frames up, and you can kind of tell on the weight when you pick them up if they're done extracting or not. If they got a little honey left in them, they feel pretty good. So I feel like they're pretty well extracted. That one's definitely extracted. Yep, they're good. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking them off, and I got a top over here. I got a top cover. I'm just sitting them on that top cover for now, and then I will. I'm gonna take them back out to the hive and put them on one hive, because they'll fill these back up in no time. That's sort of my problem this year is I've got a little bit of honey. I got a little bit of supers that have drawn frame on them, but not all of them. And it's a bit of a, I ain't gonna say a problem, but it won't become a problem. That's one of the reasons why I'm not getting as much honey as I'd like, just because I don't have a lot of drawn out frames. Okay, so she's not filled up, but I'm going to show you now what happens. First things first, make sure your lids are tightened on, because if not, she will leak, and that's not good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open it up and let the honey start pouring, and it'll dump right on in there like so. Sweet, sweet honey. So once it gets about that low, I'll go ahead and shut it off. And then I'll fill it back up, and we'll do the same thing again, and that'll drip for a little while. So what I'll do now is I'll put it in a time lapse, and I'll just run through these right quick, and then once I get done, I'll take a look at how much I got. So yeah, let's do it. Really I got left is I got everything extracted I got a little bit left in here, and I'm just letting it drain. So what I'm gonna probably have to do is clean out some of this wax cappings, and once I get them cleaned out, then it'll drain a little better. I'm probably just gonna keep these wax cappings and all this honey in here like this and seal it up, clean off the outside. The ants won't bother it because I got a rubber seal inside, so they won't even know it's there. And then just clean all this up once I'm completely done with wax cappings this year, or with honey. And then this yellow bucket, that's where my honey is. I'm just gonna sit it inside and let it, I just call it aerate. I don't really know what the proper term for it is, but whenever you move a lot of honey like this, it has a lot of air bubbles in it. So I let it sit for like 2 or 3 days in that bucket sealed up, and all the air bubbles will slowly move to the top. So when you get ready to pour it into your jars, it looks really clean and really good, and you don't have a lot of air bubbles in it. If you were to straight take it inside and start jarring it, then you would see a lot of air bubbles in it. I'll show you here in just a second. You can see all the air bubbles in the top. You can see all the air bubbles in there on the top. That's what it looks like underneath as well, because the way the honey just kind of drips in there. If you were to go jar that right now, it would look like that in every single jar. So I would give it 2 or 3 days, and then I'll let it aerate, remove the air out of it, then we'll be good to go. I got a fan running right now just because it's really humid in here, and that'll keep this honey from drawing up some of that moisture in the air, because it's really not what you want. So I'm gonna finish this up, and once I get this emptied out, we'll see how much we got. But I made a little bit of a mess. Next time I think I'm gonna lay down plastic. But we'll clean everything up. We'll take the honey extractor outside. We'll clean it down. Once we get all the honey and the wax cappings and all out of it, we'll clean it off. Then we'll seal both buckets and be good to go for another week or two. I'm gonna take these frames that I got, take them out to the hive, and just put them on one of my hives out there. They'll clean it up, one of my strong hives. They'll clean it up, no problem. They'll get all the honey out of it, clean the cappings and the cut comb, and they'll make it look really good. Probably start backfilling it with some more honey. So I had an issue with my microphone, so I had to do kind of a voiceover here. Not a big deal. Here's the honey we extracted, almost a 5-gallon bucket. Here's all the cappings for it. Quite a few cappings in there, quite a bit of honey left. What we'll do is we'll end up using this 200 to 400 micron filter that I've got that you can put over your bucket. But we'll put that inside of another honey bucket and just dump the cappings in there and squeeze all the honey out. Should be pretty simple. Again, I probably won't process any of these cappings until after we get done with honey. Simpler that way, to me anyways. And I do want to add something here. So I'll probably next year end up buying a tub. You can get a tub kit from Man Lake that you can put all your cappings into, and it will actually drain your honey while you're capping. It has a honey gate just like this bucket here does. Show a little further in the video. You can see that honey gate there. The tub that you get has the same thing, and that has a gasket on it along with the white cappings bucket. Has a gasket. That'll prevent any ants or anything from getting in there. There's your honey gate. Here is just what I've got left over. The honey gate on this honey extractor actually gets a lot of the honey out. It sits down low. I would love to get a honey gate that is all tapered towards the honey gate to prevent from having what you see here with this honey kind of stuck off to the side. I got it leaned over right now, but you get a lot of honey left in the bottom down there. And then obviously this is the top and the part that spins with the frames in it. I'll definitely just rinse this off. I'm not going to wash it down. The water pressure does a really good job of getting a lot of that honey off and those wax cappings. Ants and stuff really won't bother the wax cappings. They're after that sweet honey. So as long as I can get most of the honey off, it actually works out pretty good. And then finally here, we got the bottom filter, the finer filter. When it comes out of the honey gate, out of the honey extractor, it drips down into a like 100 micron, and then this filter here, which is about 200 microns, but it gets clogged up really bad. I found that if you take an air compressor, turn it upside down with a little hose on it, cappings bucket, and just blow out all those cappings, it actually works really well. Like, subscribe, and I appreciate y'all. Have a good one.